Hi everyone, it's Pastor Andy on Tuesday, December 8th. This happens to be the second week of the season of Advent. You see that I've got 2 of the 4 Advent candles lit. This middle one is the Christ candle for Christmas Eve and Christmas Day, when the season of Advent comes to the end and Christmas begins. So we'll talk about that later. We're also going to talk about this pink one later on. That's for next week. And I'll just give you a preview. It's about joy. Okay? So here's our season of hope and joy. These are the 2 themes we're accenting this year. So let's go with blue. Let's talk about blue today, because it's on our paraments on the altar. It's on the parament here on the pulpit. It's on my stole, this beautiful hand-woven stole from Guatemala. And then it's also in my cross, okay? So a lot of churches use the color blue for Advent. It's the color of the sky. If you happen to be in a church that uses purple as a color of Advent, that's another liturgical color that's used for Advent. And the purple actually signifies royalty. It's Jesus' royalty as the King of Kings, the Lord of Lords. So that focus on purple has to do with royalty. On blue, though, when we use blue for Advent, it represents the color of the sky. Why? Well, the sky is out there. And the sky is where a lot of people think of heaven being. I think heaven is where God is all around and where people are in God's loving presence. But there is this, this kind of quintessential thing about heaven being in the sky. And even the Bible talks about that a little bit too, as an image for us, for a place that God comes from. But blue is also the color of hope, because the sky is the color of hope, that there's something out there beyond us. When we get locked into the pain of our life, in this world, and we feel like we can't get out, or when we get locked into just a limited perspective, the sky reminds us that there's a lot more out there. And it's all created by God. It's all loved by God. And there are so many possibilities. So here's one of the little stories that comes to mind about the sky. I remember when we were little kids, and my sister Pam, my youngest sister, was probably about 4. And she had this love of balloons. So here we were visiting my grandparents in Wisconsin. One day we were on our way home, and my mom had gotten her a helium-filled balloon. She was in heaven. Speaking about blue and sky in heaven. She had this little balloon in the car, and we got to the gas station. We had to get gas. And so my mom got out of the car, and what happened, you know probably, but when she opened the door, the suction kind of pulled Pam's balloon, which was just on the ceiling of the car, toward the door, and before she even knew it, that balloon was swept away up into the sky, and my sister Pam just cried crocodile tears. We looked up there, and there it went. It got smaller and smaller and smaller. But that, even today, reminds me of the season of Advent being a season of hope, because out there, there's more, and there are possibilities, and things are ahead of us. And especially, God is the Lord of Lords and the King of Kings, who governs the whole world, the whole creation, every bit of time and space in the moments of our lives. And I don't want you to ever forget that. So that when you look at Advent, blue, it gives you hope that God's promises always come to us. And that in this life, we can love one another. We can know healing. We can work for peace. We can seek joy and find it in each other, where God lives in and through us, and outside of each other, where God creates things in this life that suddenly bring us to tears of joy, because God has been present. So here's my joy moment today. I just happened to find here at church some Jolly Ranchers, and this one happens to be blue raspberry. Here is another blue raspberry, different version of Jolly Rancher. Here's a purple grape stick from Jolly Rancher. And so I'm letting this remind me of Advent today. So here's maybe for you guys as kids, or even you adults as parents, if you want to find something like this, maybe something blue, and put in the kids' stockings. Or kids, if you want to find something blue and then talk about it. If you get something in your stockings, for instance, at Christmas time, just stop for a moment and talk about where your hope lies. Where this blue can remind you of Advent, of Jesus coming, of the promises God makes that get fulfilled at Christmas time and forever after. Just use that moment as a fun little storytelling moment of the places of hope that you have, that God has created for you. All right, everybody, it's Tuesday. I'm going to look forward to seeing you tomorrow on Wednesday, and I'm so glad you're coming to our virtual Advent calendar. Have a great day.